Here's the deal. 1 week to make one game and release it on Steam. I've always been a big fan of the horror genre, so I wanted to try my hand at making my own spooky game. One game that still brings a chill to my spine is Slender and the 8 Pages. In Slender, the player must collect 8 pages while being chased by a sickly pale man in a business suit. Very creepy, right? So I'm going to try and make a game with a similar premise to this in only 1 week, going from Monday through Sunday. So I opened up a fresh Unity project and entered the endless frustrations of game development. I'm going to choose Unity's high definition render pipeline to get those very high definition graphics. I'm going to start by placing down a cube, or as we nerds like to call it, a rectangular prism. I placed a plane for the ground, and as you can see, we have a scene beginning to form, albeit a really subscribe-y looking one. Now we need to add some sort of functionality to our player. Even though I've done it seemingly 1,000 times before, I always forget.
First-person games are of course extremely common, and that's actually
So now that that's working, I'm just gonna press the play button here. Let's just try that again. So now that that's working, I need to add an enemy to the game, because scary games have enemies. Otherwise, how would they be scary at all? Name a game that's scary that doesn't have enemies. I bet you can't. Our enemy is going to be this pill-shaped object. And yes, it is a pill. It's not a bean. It's just not. Danny, this is a pill. This is a bean. Pill. Bean. Pill. Bean. Pill. Bean. Pill. Bean. Pill. Bean. Pill. Now, I need to give our enemy some eyes, so he can see this beautiful landscape that we built for him. He's looking pretty cool. I'll start by creating this vision cone mesh object thingy and attach it to him. This will be his line of sight. The idea is to create a trigger mechanism that'll notify the enemy once the player is within this vision area. I coded this simple script that executes every single time that the player enters the enemy's vision area. And it works perfectly, like all my code. Unless you want it to see through walls, which we definitely don't want. While looking through the Unity forum rabbit hole, I discovered something called the line cast. This completely solved my problem. So if you didn't know, the line caster, well, it casts a line. Not that kind of line. A line is drawn from the enemy to the player. If the line is intersected by another object like a wall, then the enemy can't see the player. Amazing! Even though the enemy can now see, he's a dummy, and he doesn't know what to do. So let's start by giving him a brain. One of the easiest ways to do this is by using a nav mesh. A nav mesh is one of the coolest features of Unity. It gives an artificial intelligence a mesh they can navigate on. Get it? Because it's a nav mesh. It allows you to choose which objects are walkable and which ones aren't. And you know what? I'm getting kind of tired, so I'm going to hit the hay for the night. The next day I got tired of looking at this doofus pill, so I decided to hop on Mixamo, which is a really cool website that has free models and animations for characters. And although some of these characters are really scary, some of them don't fit the aesthetic that I want for this game. First up, we have the beige Power Ranger, I guess. He's got some smoke grenades attached to his waist, I think. Whoa. Then we got the blue troll baby. It is pretty creepy, but not what I'm looking for. And we got Uncle Ernesto smoking a Cuban cigar. I mean, this guy deserves his own game in his own right, but not this time. Then we got Undead John Cena. I mean, look at that guy's forearms. I think it's a little too cliche though. This guy looks like a gray alien with his own little twist, which I kind of dig. I'm looking at his name right now and it says his name is Maynard. Yeah, Mixamo named this guy Maynard, which is really weird. I kind of like this guy. I think I'm going to build the game around him and make it maybe like an alien survival horror game. So I imported Maynard into our scene and replaced the pill. And I gotta say, it's getting a little creepy. So now that we have the face of our game, we need to start fleshing out what the game actually is. I came up with an idea where the player plays as a farmer, living on a farm when an alien invasion begins. The starting area will be the player's home. On the farm, there will be an abundance of trees, some cornfields, as well as a wheat field to create a varied landscape for the player to navigate. And then, all of a sudden, a mothership just swoops on down, dropping these alien spires towards the ground. Oh yeah, and some Maynards. I kind of forgot about him. To make this vision come to life, I created a terrain object and opened up Unity's terrain editing system. I began painting mountains and hills around the edges of the map to create a boundary to keep the player within the middle. I then used Unity's terrain painting system to paint textures upon the map. Now I think it's a good time to add some 3D models to the map. And I know that some of you would like me to use Blender to do this, but I don't know how to use Blender. And I don't have a lot of time left in this challenge to spend learning a whole new software. So I went to the next best place to find 3D models, the Unity Asset Store. I found this nice looking house for the player's home, this foliage pack to add to the terrain, and I found this cool website called Sketchfab for a bunch of free 3D models. The next thing I wanted to add to the game was a flashlight, because flashlights are a staple in horror games. Oh, hey Maynard, why don't you say hi to everybody? Oh, you want them to like the video? Ha, you dirty dog. So in order to add a flashlight to the game, I decided to create a spotlight object, and I created it as a child to the main camera. I think that's enough for today, so I'm gonna have a burrito and probably head to bed. It's Thursday. You know what that means. Animation Thursday. We're gonna add some animations to Maynard. Let's go! The enemy is gonna have 5 animation states. The idle state, the patrolling state, the screaming state where he sees the player, the crawling state when he's chasing the player, and the running state when he gets close enough to the player to grab. And I created this disgusting rat nest of an animator for the enemy. Here's what it looks like in action. I then started to add the 3D models that I downloaded earlier into the map. The game, it just wasn't looking very good, so I decided to add some post-processing and some volumetric fog to get those sweet, sweet God rays. I then added some ambient sounds to the game. Take a listen to this. I also added crop circles to the game because it's an alien survival game and it's just gotta have crop circles. I then created the objective of the player, which is these alien spires that appear on the farm. The player must approach these advanced alien technologies and disable them without having the aliens come up and catch them first. Today I decided to pick up my microphone and record some sound effects for the game. We all know what aliens really like to do, so this was helpful when trying to figure out a name for the game. So I chose the name Abduction and started working on a logo for the game. But sadly, I forgot to record this footage, so here's the finished logo. I then applied for a Steamworks partner profile so that I can put the game on Steam. To get the game approved by Steam, I needed to take a bunch of screenshots and record a bunch of footage to put on my Steam page. Steam was very quick to deny my Steam page, but I addressed their concerns and they finally approved my page. So the Steam page is live right now on Steam, so you should definitely check it out. So I really wanted to release my game at the end of the week, but Steam has this really weird policy where your Steam page must be up for at least 2 weeks, and you can't release a game during a Steam sale, so basically I had to postpone my game for about a month. But while I've been waiting, I've been polishing out some bugs and adding some new content to Abduction. I've spent so much time on this game, guys, I actually have to put it up for some amount of money. It's up there right now for $10. It's in early access, so I will continue to update the game. You can wishlist the game on Steam, it's completely free to do that. You'll be notified of when the game goes on sale, so if you want the game for a lower price, do that. It would mean so much to me. You guys can also subscribe to the channel. I will be posting more content about this game, as well as more challenges and other game development related stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I love you all.